Hello and welcome to StudyIQ English, your favorite UPSC platform in India. In this video, we will talk about a dreaded disease, the disease called cancer, one of the leading causes of non-communicable disease deaths across the world. As per the recent estimates, in 2022, near about 9.7 million people died due to various forms of cancer the world over. The same estimates by the WHO also say that by 2050, about 18 to 20 million people across the globe could die due to uncontrolled, undetected, and improperly treated cancers. Now, if this is causing such a heavy burden on the healthcare systems across the globe, it is always the developing countries of South Asia, Africa, and South America where people experience a much higher mortality. And here comes the good news. After decades of experimentation, after years of experimenting with the far-sighted mRNA technology, today scientists in Russia have announced that yes, they have created a vaccine for cancer. Initially, the vaccine may help prevent against some common yet high mortality cancers like colorectal, urocancers. But eventually, it could further be modified, and on an individual case basis, it could lead to protection against many, many different varieties of common cancers. So that's the news today. Is cancer finally preventable? Is it a disease which today traps millions of people? Do we have a future where we can actually claim to become cancer free? Yes, the announcement has come from Russia, who announces that they have created a new cancer vaccine by the name of Enteromix. Now, Enteromix, once the human trials were done, has demonstrated 100% safety and efficiency. So, not only did the tumor size among patients was reduced, but also, despite repeated usage, there was no side effect seen. So, quite unlike the existing chemotherapies, radiation therapies, and the much touted immunotherapy, this new mRNA based vaccine is highly effective. The patients are not only surviving, in fact, they are experiencing zero to no side effect. Now, at the same time, the vaccine, let's understand, is based on a technology called mRNA. So, let's talk a little bit about what is mRNA. Now, mRNA is not new in vaccine science. Back during 2021, when the world was developing COVID pandemic vaccine, protection against coronavirus, that time also it was the same mRNA technology which helped us in preventing COVID. Today, once again, this vaccine named as Enteromix from Russia has showed tremendous results in reducing the size of tumors among cancer patients. It also says that the size of the tumors was reduced and people were quite safe and healthy even when this dose was given repeatedly to them. Now, this definitely is a revolution in the healthcare sector. The vaccine later will also be customized for each individual according to their own unique individual RNA. That's the best part about the vaccine, that it doesn't use any chemical, it doesn't use any external synthesizer. In fact, it is using the immunity of patient's own body, the RNA of patient's own body in order to fight and target the cancer cells. Now, for a long time now, the CAR T cell therapy was also in news. We had different medicines being created for cancer. In fact, recently, there was a huge debate about compulsory licensing. That why sometimes in developing countries like India, it is difficult to procure life saving drugs. Some of them are anti cancer drugs. But today, as we move to an era where, quite like COVID-19, we can also have a prevention against majority of cancers, then not only will it lead to better lifespan among people, but the suffering and the devastation, economic, social, psychological, that takes place on the lives of poor people in developing countries can be saved. Because the number of cancer patients is only on the rise. In India, we attribute this either to the Green Revolution, the kind of fertilizer and pesticide culture that we have. Sometimes we attribute this to a high degree of air pollution. Sometimes people say it's because of consumption of more fast food, rich in unhealthy fatty acids, the usage of palm oil across most packaged products. A lot of people associate cancers to these disorders. At the same time, we also know that it is a complex disease, very difficult to diagnose on time, leading to either death all leading to years of suffering altogether. And here, Russia is promising through Enteromix that it will soon be available in the market and the pricing mechanisms will also be settled later on. Now, a bigger question comes that how does this vaccine even work? What is this miracle drug? So, this works by training the immune system of the human body to first recognize and then eliminate cancer cells. Now, a small example could be we often talk about innate and acquired immunity. While innate immunity is something that's inbuilt in us, it is the acquired immunity that keeps on changing in our lifespan. For example, a small child who is given a vaccine against a disease like, say, polio. The whole mechanism of immunization, vaccination, is to create antibodies in the body of the patient so that later, when the immune cells of the body recognize the same virus or the same bacteria, they are able to take charge, they become activated, and hence they exclusively target those dangerous bugs. They kill them off. It's almost like the memory system of the body that gets activated. Something similar is happening here. The mRNA vaccine will just train and teach our immune systems to recognize and then eventually target, kill the cancer cells. And because it's based on RNA, it will further be personalized for every individual patient. Instead of using a weak virus that is often used in the case of various other vaccines, this active mRNA vaccine will just coach the body cells to produce such proteins that can trigger an immune system towards cancer cells. Now, talking about which cancers will first be targeted. So, one of the leading causes of deaths among young people today is the colorectal cancer. And hence, initial focus of the vaccine is also colorectal. That's the leading cause of mortality across the world. Then the scientists are also developing specific variations of these vaccines to attack diseases like the glioblastoma, a very high aggressive brain tumor. Then specific types of melanoma, at the same time ocular melanoma. So all these are also picking up in number, and the vaccine is now already conducting advanced stage study so that many different variations of cancer can be taken care of. So at this point it becomes very important for us to know then what is the mRNA, what's the whole big hype about this. So today the word vaccination, creating vaccines, is quite synonymous to mRNA technology. It stands for messenger RNA. The purpose is to almost like teach or give a temporary instruction to the sheet of cells inside your body. The job of these cells is to carry the message from the DNA, that's the permanent memory in the cell, to the cell's protein making factories, which are often known as ribosomes. You may have heard in school level biology that ribosomes play a very important cell in synthesizing protein inside the cell bodies. So this is exactly what the mRNA technology will do. It will teach these cells to carry short temporary messages from the DNA to the ribosomes. Then what happens? The proteins are very important in any human body because proteins are the ones that determine ultimately our hormonal function, our enzyme function, muscle building, immunity, and all of that. So that's the role of mRNA in the body. Ultimately, everything boils down to the proteins that we carry. So if there is no protein like mRNA in the body, then DNA's instructions, whatever is coded into our DNAs, it will never ever reach the ribosome. It will finish where it starts. Hence, the cell cannot function properly. We cannot have a strong immunity. So that's the purpose here, to train the cells to learn to identify the cancer cells and then go and kill them, completely terminate them. Hence, there is no external chemical or no dangerous drug that's being utilized here. At the same time, mRNA vaccines have portrayed huge potential in diseases like cancer based on HPV, the human papilloma virus. Earlier as well, it is the cervical cancer against which we already have a vaccine developed, the HPV vaccine, that is recommended for young girls to use from the age of say 9 to 15. That's a major step in preventing a very common cause of death among females. Similarly, COVID pandemic. In COVID pandemic also, scientists had used synthetic mRNA which carried the code to make a harmless piece of the virus, the spike protein. Today, the same thing is happening here as well. The mRNA itself will not enter the DNA, but it breaks down quickly after it's completely used up. So, whether it's COVID, whether it's the HPV virus, or whether today we talk about various different kind of cancers, mRNA is a great way of dealing with such diseases that have very difficult treatment. Now, cancer vaccines, as I said, are nothing new. Earlier as well, the whole concept of using the HPV, the anti-cervical cancer vaccine, was also to protect the body by training it to be immune towards the virus called HPV that causes this cancer among young female patients. And now something similar has happened. So, whether it's prostate cancers or bladder cancers, the mRNA is the future. And most vaccinations that have been developed previously, they could not be scaled up. One, because research was not complete. They were not prepared for human trials. Apart from that, they were also not as efficient. But today, the vaccine that Russia has tested has displayed a considerable efficiency. And the best part is that patients who are receiving repeated dosages are also only improving without any expressed side effect as such. So, yes, we are entering in a beautiful future now where a disease as dreaded, especially for the poor population, as cancer, which is actually on the rise, even in India, could be tackled. It could be prevented. This could mean wonders that science can do to human life. And on that note, let's have a look at the prelims question. Consider the following statements regarding mRNA, the messenger RNA. 1. mRNA carries genetic instructions from DNA to ribosomes where proteins are made. 2. mRNA can directly alter the DNA sequence of a cell. Be a little cautious here. 3. In mRNA vaccines, synthetic mRNA, that's artificial mRNA, is used to teach the cells to produce a harmless white viral protein, triggering an immune response. So, which of these do you think is correct or are correct? You could place your answer in the comment box. And if you have an opinion about this new development, if you wish to share some suggestions, some unique ideas, then please feel free to use the comment box. You can communicate and start a discussion thread there. And if you enjoy these lectures, then do like, share, and subscribe Study IQ English. I have placed the answer for your reference. Thank you and all the best.